Okay. Something's happening. Okay, hold on. Okay. Is it working? I know you can't hear me. Okay, I think we're up. Is YouTube up? Is YouTube running? Can somebody confirm with me if YouTube is actually showing up YouTube comments? I don't see any YouTube comments in here. So it looks like I gotta reset this. Hold on a second here. Because I have to reboot, and when you do that, then it screws everything up here. So I don't know why I don't see the comments from YouTube. Give me a second. Okay, can somebody type a comment on YouTube so I can test? Or I can type a comment myself, I guess. Test. I don't get it. All these little complications, you know? Where's the comments? I just accidentally started on the wrong Wi-Fi, and that kind of messed it up here. Switch mic. Okay, switching mic. Okay, I don't see any comments. The YouTube comments are not visible to me for some reason. So why is that? Why do I not see the YouTube comments? I mean, I see you on my phone, but it's not. Yeah, I see your comments on the phone. So I see Starlight, Twist Mint, Doctor, Mad Cow, Starlight, Chadlin, Brian, Doug, Duffy Deb, and then Barry. Okay, but why are your comments not showing up on here on the screen? And that's what I would like to figure out here. If you just give, sorry, Periscope here, hold on a second. Just, I messed something up here, and it's just disturbing here to make it complicated. So I see the comments in here, and yet it doesn't show up. What the heck? Okay, anyway, maybe it'll show up later. Anyway, can't really interrupt the broadcast for that. I can see your comments. I'm holding YouTube comments in here. I see Periscope comments over here. So I see all of your comments, and all of you are welcome. And let me turn off the other mic so you don't have to get the zucking echo. Hello, Magameme, Spiker. And sorry for ignoring the people here on hello, Raylene Faye, John. Who else have I missed on that Tim Bear? Who else have I missed on Periscope? Please say hi, and I will greet you. Hello, LG Knight, Hudos T, Night Eyes. Hello, folks. You know what? You know, some of you. Why am I not following you? You know, I need to hold on a second here. It doesn't show on the bottom. You know, I should be like, I should be. You should show up on the bottom. Okay, I've made sure that that I make sure that I follow you on Periscope. So there you go. So now I see everybody's comments, and sorry for the delay. Sorry for the delay there. Just I may have to do a cut, and I'll repeat this whole process again. Yes, please watch on YouTube, please. Hello, Hoodoos too. Okay, so thank you for coming in tonight. Thank you for coming in tonight. And we have an exciting topic of malware. It's best not to follow me. Go to the weird scopes to try and understand them. Usually don't. I don't need to worry about that, Kelp. I just followed you anyway. Waiting for you to sing. Well, that's going to take a long time. I have to go backward in years. I remember the last time I sang, I was 12. Then my voice changed, and then that was the last time I ever sang again. Hello, Rankin. Yes, I never sang again after 12 because my voice narrowed to just a narrow range like this, and I never tried to figure it out. So I said, maybe I should just play an instrument. VGs. So I said, I'll just play an instrument because the instrument can go, like guitar and the piano can go from 88, 88, 88 keys, 88 notes. There's something to respect a person who knows their strengths. Yes, Kelp. What was the last song you sang? I didn't sing it, but that is the anonymous theme song, which is anonymous, and no one at YouTube can claim copyright on it because that would be zucked up. So that's a improvisation based on not actually the original. It's based on the anonymous theme song. So in a sense, it's really mine. So it's my version of it. My version of it. So maybe I will play that every night. So at least I'm certain never to get into copyright issues with that. I'll just play it every night. So welcome, folks. Thank you, NorCal. Hello, NorCal 2010. So I want to tell you about some of the videos I'm going to be making this week. I will, Great Gold, just because you said so. Just because you said so, and you're my friend, I'll do it. Okay, so I'm going to make a video this week. So watch for it, around Wednesday or so. I'm going to make a couple of videos. The first video I'm going to make is about the Yubikey. So, Yubikey. Okay, what is the Yubikey? So this tiny little thing, it's it's basically like a tiny SD card in size, and it's a USB. It plugs into your USB-A, or in my case, I have an adapter to plug it into my USB-C. I have an adapter. I put this on, and this device is a hardware-based two-factor authentication. So this allows you to log in with two-factor authentication on your websites like YouTube, like Google, Twitter, Amazon, LastPass, and so on, and using this. And I've been using this for a while now, like a month, and I'm going to give you a review and tell you if this is useful for you or not, and what the difficulties are, if any, and if it's useful for you, you will find out. So watch that video, follow me on YouTube to make sure you catch that video. And this is a Yubikey. A Yubikey is between 45 to 50 bucks. So 45 to 50 bucks that I paid for this on Amazon. And I have to explain, because don't just go buy, because you don't know what you're going to buy, because you don't know what OTP, FIDO, FIDO2, you don't know what those are. So you have to get a little bit of an explanation before you jump in there, because not all of that will work. Depends on what you're trying to do. So I will try to explain Yubikey to you so people have a sense of what they're supposed to buy if you want to buy one of these, if you want it. Okay? They probably get a kickback. Okay. I will not tell you I will not give you support for Yubikey. I will tell you the pluses and the minuses. Okay? But this is the one I reviewed. There are other products, but this is the one I reviewed. And I will post this in a video so you can see what my opinions are. Frankly, I only use it for one thing. I don't actually use it for most things, and there's a reason for that. It's really not that handy for me. So once you understand the limitations, you might understand why you may want to use it or why you may not want to use it. So that's part of what I'm here for, is to give you an explanation. It's not just a black and white. I'm here to sell you a Yubikey because I can get a second commission out of it. It's like the shills. So I may say something negative things. You don't know. I may say negative things. In fact, I'm sure I will say some negative things because I just told you I only use it for one thing. But some of you may find better uses of it than I can. Each person has a different case scenario, and it's not all fixed. So I will give you the video on that, and then I'll make a video on Bytes VPN also for using alien computer use Yubikey. I don't know. Yubikey is not useful for login though. They're not useful for logging into a computer. the computer will have to be logged in the usual way. So it's useful for logging into external things. Because if somebody has your Yubikey, then they don't need to log into your computer. They're already in. So you don't want that. Okay? So that's something that's going to come up. Tomorrow I will be broadcasting a jam session. So you will... no, the best way Cody Live is not to get the malware in there to begin with, not a malware deletion tool. Yes, we can talk about the best malware deletion tool. Hello, Lavelle. How are you, Lavelle? We will talk about the best. Ask me that again if I forget. We'll make sure to touch on that. Okay, because there's only one. There's only one best malware deletion tool. Okay, so what is the most? Cut. Start. So what is the most scary malware that you can ever get? An older gentleman in our office clicked on a banner. What is the worst malware you can get on your computer? Good to hear, Lavelle. Advocate Lab, Lavelle. So some of you will say ransomware. Do you think that ransomware? AMT? AMT is not malware necessarily. That's a backdoor. So the answer, it's not really ransomware. Ransomware is a targeted approach. If somebody did a ransomware on me and just attacked my files and did a ransomware because I am so stupid with my setup, which shouldn't happen to most of you, if you listen to me, then ransomware shouldn't be such a big issue. Like, the likelihood of getting ransomware is fairly small to nothing, actually, if you follow my procedures. The chances of getting that are pretty much nil. However, ransomware typically targets network drives, so they're not going to make money targeting your local computer. They want to get into an office computer and target a network, and then go look at the files of the server of a big company, and then do that there. LG Knight is zucking right. The worst malware you can ever get is the rat. The rat, yes, Starlight. The rat is the worst thing you can ever get. Yes, if you don't know what AMT is, because Starlight said the options given here are ransomware, AMT, viruses or malware you don't know anything about, and a rat. Now, if you don't know what a AMT is, okay, if you don't know what AMT is a backdoor built into Intel computers since 2007, maybe? I forget. Around there. Could be before that. But the version we're concerned about is probably from 2010 on. Okay, so what AMT is, it's a chip on your Intel computers. And if you don't know what an Intel computer is, it's your MacBook Pro, your Windows computer running Intel, not AMD. AMD is okay. But your MacBook Pro is running Intel. When Apple started using Intel 20,000, a chip on my shoulder. So if you have a Intel computer, there's a backdoor. It's called vPro, which is part of AMT, of Advanced Management Technology, which is a backdoor to somebody that can do remote control on your Intel processor. It is very zocked up, very, very zocked up. Now, in 2018, I bought a laptop with no AMT on it. They started shipping, high-end laptops without AMT. I got mine without AMT. I bought a new one this year, also without AMT. So you have to check it chip by chip to make sure that your particular Intel processor does not have AMT. Otherwise, guess what? AMT is just like a rat. Yes. AMT How safe is SAT internet, and how can I? What is SAT internet? It's on many computers. Does AMD? No, AMT is a feature of Intel. So if you're on AMD, then you are okay. But if you are on Intel, you need to check your actual chip number and see if it has a feature called vPro. V as in Victor, PRO. And if you have an Intel i5 or i7 from all the years up to 2017, the likelihood of having AMT on there is very high. If you're on an i3, if you're cheap and you're only buying i3s, you're actually a little safer. They did not put AMT on i3s. They put it on i5s and i7s. If you have an i5 and i7, including MacBook Pros, my MacBook Pro has AMT on it. And AMT means somebody can remote control the Zucking computer, including download files from it when you're not looking, including turning on the machine when you're not looking, including turning on the cameras and putting in some software on there. It is not a flaw. It is a design. Now, you can actually turn it off on Intel. I do not know how to turn it off on a Mac. Don't know how. Okay? It was made for tech support. It's actually pretty bad. Starlight's actually correct in mentioning it, but it's not a global thing, but it's pretty bad. So AMT has been, I've been speaking about AMT for 4 years. And you can see in the news every once in a while, and they say there's another hack. Of course, I am offering Bytes VPN. I was just talking about my new product, which is a Bytes VPN router. This is a Brax Wi-Fi router that automatically connects to Bytes VPN. This is a Bytes VPN router. Yes, I do have Bytes VPN, and very, very important. Come on, it's up there. How can you tell me, am I still doing Bytes VPN when it's right up on the screen here? Look up, my friend, look up right there. So no fix, no fix, but get a new computer. But when is it going to be free, like everything else? You removed all the info off the website. What info did I remove off the website, Helm? I was just looking at a moment ago. Let me just check here for you. I was just working on it today. So why would I remove it? You may have a misspelling on the name then. Bytes. I'm going to go exactly to the website you see up there. bytesvpn.com. And we'll see if it comes up. I will make a video. Yeah, it comes up very nicely. Yeah, bytesvpn.com. Yeah. Right there. So yeah, it's still, of course, is there. Okay, this is 149. It's the old Tor router, but this is a dual function. This can be used as a Tor router or as a VPN router. You flip the switch and it's shipped as a VPN router. You just bought your Bytes VPN yesterday. Installed fine. Thank you, Hoodoos. Okay, so this is if you have a Bytes VPN, you can have your own router. Then you don't have to install software on devices because you can just put it on the router. You just connect to the Wi-Fi, and the Wi-Fi automatically goes to the VPN. This is why it's pretty handy, because if you have a lot of devices in the house, and they're just using the Wi-Fi, then you don't have to configure any device. They just use this, and they're automatically on the VPN. And it's pretty flawless. So you don't even have to update it. It self-updates. Every time it starts, it's updating. So if you want to update it, unplug it, plug it back in, it's updating. Where does the new chip go? In the back, the usual place for the chip. There's a picture in the manual. So if you have an old Tor router, it will work with the old Tor router. You just get the chip and then stick it in there. Use some tweezers to pull out the old chip, put the new one in, and you're all set to go. If you have if you do not have the old Tor router, this one is a different model. It's a Raspberry Pi 3B Plus. This one has 5 gigahertz. The old one is only 2.4 gigahertz. and only has a 10100 Ethernet port. This one has a gigabit port. So the new one is better. Okay, the new one is better. Even if you have an old Tor router, you might say, well, let me use that, keep that as a Tor router and get a new one for VPN. This is a lot faster. So this is the new one. And yes, Entire Meyer got his router today. Yes. So how well would it work with HughesNet? It doesn't care what the network is. It will work with anything. That sounds like a workhorse. It is both 2.4 and 5 gigahertz. Correct. You choose. By default, I ship it with 5 gigahertz. And then I pre-configure to your Bytes VPN account, and then all you just plug it in, and it really, that's it. You plug it in, and it will just run by itself and self-update. You don't have to worry about updating it. The worst thing you have to do is unplug it, and then you can update it. If you want to remote control it and actually modify settings on it, you can do so remotely, or plug in a monitor and keyboard directly into the device itself. You can do that. But if you are like most people, you just want it to work, plug it in, and that's it. That's the easiest. It's plug and play. Plug it in, and it's connected to VPN. The metal one I don't sell anymore because Wi-Fi needs plastic. Okay, Wi-Fi needs plastic. So the metal one is could obstruct Wi-Fi, and since we want high speed, it's not good to have metal. So I sell it in a clear plastic, not this version. This is actually the old case. I'm selling it with the clear plastic. Okay, so that's why the plastic. It's because, and by the way, the plastic is easy to replace. You can buy a new case for $6, or you can buy a fancier case for. There's a case with a screen on it with a LCD that you can get for $28. So if you say, well, I want my case to have an LCD, you can go to Amazon, buy the case for $28 and assemble it yourself. And you don't need to talk to me. You can just have it delivered to you from Amazon, and you assemble it yourself, and you now have a Tor router or VPN router with a display. Pretty cool. They say it's why phones are glass, the metal screws stuff up. Yes, that is correct, John. That is correct. So unless somebody comes up with a glass case, we're going to stick with plastic. I built my own case out of an old Game Boy Color. It's pretty cool. LG Night. I have different cases. I have one that has a Lego. I have a case that looks like Lego. I have a case that has a screen on it. I have metal cases, several different kinds of metal. I have a lot of Raspberry Pis, so I'm using it for testing and so on. So I have a lot of them. I can solder what together? A case. You don't need to solder a case. Everything is pretty much, the worst thing you got to do is use a screwdriver. Yeah, they're lots of fun. So you can do a lot of things with this. For example, you can make one Pi a Tor router, one Pi a VPN router, and you can play games with that and do things like that. Put a camera on it and do little tricks. So it's kind of fun. And the VPN computer, you don't need to solder anything on this. This is all. If you want a screen on it, it's all it's all easily assembled with just a screwdriver. So nothing else needed. So just for using the screen the one with the screen, it just needs a screwdriver. I actually am running 2 of these in my house. One for each part of the house. It's a VPN router. So I'm running 2 of these. So it's pretty cool. So if anybody's asking if you have a VPN router, and I do have Bytes VPN on it. So, and if you want to use this with your existing VPN, let's say you're on PIA, you can still use this. Okay, this will work with PIA, but there's some special instructions. It will work with any VPN. You just need the instructions for it. Okay? It will work with any VPN. If you want to use NordVPN, I don't know why you would want to use PIA and all that compared to Bytes VPN. Bytes VPN is better. But if you feel like you got to use those other ones because it's maybe good for your country, then you can do so, and you can convert this to work with that VPN, no problem. Or you can not buy it from me and buy it from flashrouters.com. They will sell you a VPN router without a VPN subscription from $250 to $500. So if you want those, you can. If you want to pay more, you can go to them. If you want to pay a reasonable price, you can come to me. It's $149 all complete plus $7 shipping. So that's on my website, rob.brax.me, or you can go get it from bytesvpn.com. Okay? What if just for inline hardline? That's a different version for inline hardline. I don't have that yet. I have the Tor router works for that. The old version, old software. I don't have a version that's wire to wire version of it, where you plug in your Wi-Fi and then the other end goes to. I have to make a different version of it, different software. That requires different software. If you want to play with GPIO, you can solder your own buttons or use. Oh yes, come on! You're not going to go solder anything. You get a kit, a baseboard, and then you use clips, alligator clips to use GPIO. Okay. So anyway, this is fun project, and the fact that I'm not giving you some unusual hardware. Yes, setup instructions are in the manual. It's on bytesvpn.com room on Brax. There's a manual right there. This is kind of fun because there's other things you can do with the device. So if you take off the chip, you can actually make this little project computer for other things. And when you're not using it, it's a VPN. So it's pretty cool. Now, some of you will say, well, I can program the VPN myself. There are instructions on YouTube that tell you how to make your own VPN router. I'm going to tell you, it's not easy as an expert. Okay? It really isn't. I mean, it's pretty tedious to do it that way. Whereas mine has menus. You don't have to worry about it doing any kind of programming. It has menus and everything. You can control it completely without knowing a single thing about programming or Linux. But those things require a lot of command line stuff, and you make a mistake, got to start all over again. And it took me weeks, and I'm a digital forensic. It takes a long time to make a VPN router right. And there will be bugs and there'll be problems, and especially something as complex as mine that actually switches modes. I like your last YouTube video VPN router. Yes, so I have a special deal, but I had to raise the price. If you have an existing Tor router, you can convert it to the VPN router by just getting the chip from me for $54.95. I had to raise the price because of the price of the chip. The chip is more expensive, and I had to raise the price today because I have to pay more for the chip. So it's $54.95. You can convert the old one. For those who have existing ones, I suggest you just buy the full one complete with the Raspberry Pi and software. It's $149 all complete, all ready to go. Okay. So how much is the RG USB dongle for it? Why would you need the dongle for it, Lavelle? Why would you need a dongle for it? Are you going wired to wired? Is that what you want to do? Wired to wired? Oops, sorry. I want to make sure you understand what you would need it for. But let me just tell you something else. Somebody said, can I do a VPN router on the go? Or a Tor router? Can I have a VPN router, Tor router on the go that I can share as a hotspot? Now, who asked that question? Who asked that question? The person that asked that question is iSocialFit. So he said he's traveling, he wants a VPN for multiple devices, including for family, and he wants to have it as a hotspot. Can you do that? Yes. Yes, you need a. I posted on the video, the privacy gadget video on YouTube. I posted a link to a device there. It's called Netgear LTE modem, and all it needs is a SIM card from AT&T, T-Mobile, or one of their alternate carriers. And if you do that, you just plug in the RJ45 Ethernet cable back here into that unit, which is about the same size. It's about the same size as this. And now you, with these two devices, you now have a wireless hotspot hooked up to a VPN or to a router, depending on how you program this, and for your family or anywhere you travel. And you don't have to worry about setting up your computer. So if you go to somebody's office, you're not using their network because they can spy on you when you use their network. Okay? So I don't have this one does not have a wired mode, Lavelle. This is completely wireless only. The old Tor router had the wired mode. This does not. If you want to use wired mode, it's the old Tor router that had it. Okay, so just wanted to make sure. Sorry for the interruption, guys, but that was part of the video couple days ago. Okay, so back to what we're talking about. We are talking about you need a 2.5 amp charger. 2.5 amp. Yeah. And then you need a charger for the thing as well. The other thing, the Netgear LTE modem. The Netgear LTE modem is I think I don't know. They raised the price. When I posted it on YouTube, it was $99. Then I looked again, it was $119. So they added $20 while I was sleeping. Zocked up. They added $20 while I was sleeping. So I can still get you can still get the old one. Yes. But you talk to me on Brax Lavelle so I know exactly what your needs are. Otherwise, maybe you wait for the next version of this that can do wired to wired. I don't have that on this version. I was rushing this to do wireless only. And you have to explain to me why you even need wired to wired. Okay? So we'll deal with that when the time comes. Hello, Moira. How are you doing? Okay, so so that's all on YouTube and on Bytes VPN. Do not CDMA options. You'd have to find a device that has a Ethernet plug. Hello, Moira. I did not look for a device with a Ethernet plug on it. I think we're raising the market price once people understand why it's so necessary. Because of Article 13 and Article 11, I presume the price of VPNs will go up. Verizon is CDMA, yes. I did not look for the one I looked for was not CDMA. It was and besides, it doesn't really matter. Why go CDMA when you have flexibility of SIM cards? There's no USB port on the router. You'd have to use a you have to use a converter. What do you need the USB-C for? USB-C for what? Keyboard? It doesn't really need anything. You plug it into the Ethernet, and it's HDMI. There's the HDMI in the middle there. So what do you need the USB-C for? I mean, typically you don't touch this. You just leave it alone. I wonder why my YouTube, the YouTube comments disappeared. I really have no understanding what happened here. I think that YouTube must have reprogrammed. YouTube must have reprogrammed their chat, and it affected the display. Just asking, just usage seemed to be standard for stuff. Yeah, there's converters. This is what I use, John. I have a USB-C, USB-A converter. See that? So it's USB A on there, and then it goes USB-C on the other end. So that's what I use. So my computer has USB-C and A, but often I'm using the A, so I have C available. So I'd rather have it on C, so I happen to have a lot of these. So I use the converter, and there you go. No problem. Back to C. Okay, there. I think there's also a converter from C to A. I still have not found a VPN server that doesn't slow down my internet. I'm on a 1 gigabit speed provider. Uh, my VPN, but you see, it depends on how close you are to the server. My VPN can go on Wi-Fi. We're talking Wi-Fi here. My Wi-Fi, if I'm really close to it, can go as high on Bytes VPN, can go as high as 110. At least that's the highest I can see, because speed test doesn't go higher than that. 110 megabits. That's kind of maxed out. Okay. I mean, it's super fast. My VPN servers are all on gigabit ports. They're all gigabit trunks. I'm wired on both my laptop and yeah. So my Wi-Fi is gigabit entry. So it's not going to slow you down. It's very fast, and there's no limits. And the other thing is, my VPN is very low capacity per server. I don't I don't try to make profit over people by trying to push too many people on it. And you will see it by degradations in server. It's not even reaching, it's not even close to peak. It's never touched the peak ever. Okay, hello, I'm in it. I'm using a USA server and I'm in Canada. Yeah. So what part of Canada are you in? Are you in Eastern or Western Canada? Yeah. So my server is very fast, but of course the internet is slow in the middle, so that doesn't tell us anything. So the internet can be slow anywhere in the middle, so that doesn't give you the complete answer. Okay. Anyway. Toronto. So in Toronto, you would use my New York, my East pool. My East pool is in New York. It's sending me to a Michigan server, right? My pool is in New York, so I imagine they'd send you to Michigan, but my pools are only in New York and in Los Angeles and Florida and Atlanta. Okay, so those are it's because of the ISP I use. That's where their offices are. It depends on where my ISP is. So that ISP is only in those places. No, there's no need for middle at the moment. It's fast enough for East and West. Yeah, fast enough for East and West. Can I check out your VPN online? You mean to check the speed? Yeah, I'll give you talk to me on Brax.me and I'll give you a 24-hour subscription. Okay, that's not a problem. Anyway, it's $89 a year. It's on Bytes there, the website, bytesvpn.com. It's $89 a year for 6 devices. Or if you use one of these, then this is only one device. As many users as you can handle. This is only one device. Okay? So yeah, if you want to test it out, talk to me on, don't want any unhappy customers. So if you don't like the performance where you are, I cannot predict the speed of where you are. Sometimes it depends on the trunks. Sometimes it's ultra fast where you are. Sometimes it's not. I don't really have any control over that. So, it's case by case. Okay. So, what is the? Wow, we really got off topic there. What is the worst malware aside from AMT that you can have? And AMT was a good answer. But what is the worst malware you can have on your computer? And it is not ransomware. The worst thing you can have on your computer or on your iPhone or your Android is a remote access Trojan. So here's the problem, folks. Let's talk iPhones for a moment. I guess this is the iPhone. Let's talk iPhones and Androids for a moment. it's very hard to install a remote access Trojan on an iPhone if you did not root it. If you rooted this and put a jailbreak version of Apple, then somebody can do something to this. So as an advice to you, this is just a general rule. Some of you are wanting to play little games on your device, to trick it to do things. Jailbreaking it is quite risky. For one, you'll never know if the malware was installed on this, because that's the whole purpose of jailbreaking. If you're on a Apple normal update, and Apple releases their things very frequently, so aren't they on 12.2.2 now? I forget. Hello, Rob, unknown person. So when you get one of these and you get an update, the update erases anything that could have been potentially been malware. So simply getting an update will remove the malware, risk breaking the phone also. Okay, so there was one. What's her name? Bree Olson. Bree Olson did a broadcast and said her phone was hacked, and I don't know what that really means, because to hack your phone, your iPhone, and she doesn't know how to jailbreak. To hack your phone. Thank you, Rob. To hack your phone, to put in a real hack software on an iPhone means somebody actually has to get a hold of your phone, and know your ducking password on Apple. That's not terribly likely to happen. Surf and Sacks. That's not terribly likely to happen if you are not jailbroken. So one of the easiest ways to make sure that doesn't happen is make sure you're not jailbroken. Where it's not so obvious, and I'm going to tell you this is important to know. Where it's not so obvious is if the phone comes from someone else. The actual spy may not be your typical bad guy. The developer programs give me root access legally at a reasonable price. So you're gonna. That's what I'm worried about. If somebody gives you a phone, like LG Byte gives you a phone with developers' tools in there, and he just loaded a rat on there. Okay, so this is the way that this goes. If I give you a phone, it has my ID on it, or I know the ID because I gave you the phone, and I gave you the phone preloaded, I can load the rat right on there, and I'll tell you what kind of rats you can put on here, but they're legit programs. They're on the App Store. There's nothing you got to do. You just load the rat in, and then you pay a subscription of $99 a year, and then you can watch whatever goes with the phone. Okay? Android doesn't have any control, so, the kind of stuff I'm talking about, same thing, if you have a right to go to the store, it's the same thing. If you have right to go to the store because the phone was given to you, the owner of the phone can load whatever they want. So one of the things they can load on here is a Trojan. Now, exactly, you can load up to 10 phones for $300 a year. So what is a Trojan? Well, T-Mobile, as an example, was distributing phones with a Trojan loaded on it. And the purpose of the Trojan, in this case, was a program called Log Me In, which I use and everybody else uses. It's a remote control program. And Log Me In was preloaded onto Androids on T-Mobile. They were selling the phones, the T-Mobile phones, T-Mobile branded phones, and they were, I believe they were Samsung, and they were preloaded with software from T-Mobile, and the preloaded software was a rat. Log Me In. Okay? Now, Log Me In is commercial software. It's touted as being used for tech support. There's many other products just like that, like Log Me In. And some of them have what is called a unattended mode. Unattended mode, meaning a full rat. When they say unattended mode, they're actually talking about a full rat. Okay, were they studying this custom? Well, going to tell you what happened. So I found this out because somebody on Brax said to me that uh, Brax is not secure because somebody from T-Mobile was able to see what was going on Brax. It was reading some of the comments on Brax. And I said, "What the fuck are you talking about? How are they going to do that? Okay, how do they get into your private messages and see what you're talking about?" And it's somebody from tech support at T-Mobile. So when you get the full explanation, then you start to understand, how bad this is. What happened was T-Mobile, and I have not talked to, I haven't talked to John Leger about this, and I didn't bring it up, and I am in contact with him, but I did not bring this up, and I'm not trying to, I am on T-Mobile now. I like John Leger, and I don't want to disrupt his business. And any device I use does not have the software, but they did do this at one point. I don't know if they still do it, and it's in their TOS. So if you're saying that they're doing it sneakily, no, they're pretty upfront. They said we're loading the software on there. And what happened though is that this person talked to tech support. You don't have to reverse engineer it. It's just log me in, so the software's right on there. So the tech support person was talking to the client, one of the users of Brax, and as she was complaining about her phone, the T-Mobile person was also on the phone, checking out what this person was doing, and this person, as the tech support was happening, was scanning Brax and scanning her text messages, and the T-Mobile person could see all that and was making comments about it. Was making comments about, oh, look at that music posted over there. Oh yeah, the text, yeah. So the tech support from maybe someone in India, I don't know. Somebody in India was don't see any sign up information on a website for VPN service. The sign up is on when you go to the website right here. Just go all the way down. And click on the buy now right there. Okay? You click on that, it will bring you to my store. So this gives you my store. And there's the products in the store. Then you have to establish a Brax account to actually buy it. Okay? So sorry. So it's there. Okay, so anyway, back to what I'm talking about, continuing on to my topic here. So the T-Mobile agent, the T-Mobile agent was then making comments about what's on screen, and really the issue is the T-Mobile agent was not very clear, and maybe it was said in some vague way, but the person involved did not realize that the T-Mobile agent was actually connecting to the phone, because no permission was needed or granted to access it. It was just built in. This is part of the problem with the design of the way the Log Me In was installed on this computer, because there was actually no input on the side of the tech support recipient that the remote control is already active. So the remote control was activated without any kind of signal to the other user, and so it turned into a rat. Now just understand what happens if you can remote control the computer. You can turn on the camera, you can record the sound, you can run any app as if you were the user of the phone. You can look at the text, you can send a text, you can do an email, you can basically control the phone. This was implemented. I don't know if they will allow you to remove it. In this case, the software they use was Log Me In, and there's some other products out there with some names that you may not be familiar with. So what happens if somebody loads software on your phone that you're not familiar with? You check out what the purpose of the app is, and some of them are, if they say remote control app, then you're going to have a problem. The ones that lesser known ones, and I forget it begins with S, but there was a lesser known product that was actually much more subtle, because it actually so you can subscribe to this for $99 a year, and you can control the device for the year remotely, unattended. You can turn it on. Now guess this is a real life scenario here that I'm going to tell you, and this is on a phone, not a computer. This is a real life scenario. So what happened here is this is a divorced family, and it was not just a divorced family, but the ex-husband and wife here, the couple, it was a very, very bad divorce. So it's disputed. There was a lot of fighting about taking custody of kids, and this went on for many, many, many years. And the other person was bent on making sure the other one suffers, even going to jail. Splash top. There you go. Thank you, Lavendi. Thank you. I know broadcasted that before, but I couldn't remember. So anyway, splash top, yes. So anyway, so what happened was the one of the parties asked me to see if she's being spied on, because there's some private information that was acquired by the ex-husband, and they were wondering, how did he know that? Okay? No, one of them was rich. The husband was rich. The wife was very poor. So, yeah, so it's a very, very uneven kind of split there. So the husband has a lot of resources and can certainly, hire detectives and, any kind of load spyware in the house and to do all that. He can afford to. He can afford to do that. So anyway, what happened here is that they determined that the person had information on their movements that should have been secret. No, it was a very, very complicated case. There was no alimony. No, very complicated case. Very complicated. So, where there is alimony, but I'm sorry. I mean, the whole point was to get the custody. Then there wouldn't be alimony, because when the kid leaves, then that's it. So anyway, the question was, how did the husband spy on the wife? And the answer is, I was asked this question, and I actually, this is what I actually did, just to give you an idea, so you can think about this. I said, can you search your house for any devices that look like this? Any devices around this size, or even a little bit smaller than this, perhaps plugged into the network, perhaps plugged into the wall. Is there any such device around? Because you can use this to spy on hack into the network. If I wanted to hack your network, all I have to do is find some, secret plug behind the sofa, something that you don't actually look at, like an outlet that's behind the sofa. Plug in a power supply into this and just leave it there. And I don't care if you find it, because it's, you're not going to know what it is, and I can make it seem like it's from the phone company. And leave it there, and this can spy on you. Yes, that's one way of doing it. And then from there, spy on your computers, and that's too complicated, LG Byte. That means you'd have to be in there and go into the wall and such. That's much more time consuming. I figure you don't have that kind of time to go into a house. But yeah, you can take off the outlet, and it's a little dangerous though, because it's live wires in there. And can you fit this in there? I guess you could. Yep. So that's certainly a way. So anyway, this thing can be hidden, and so the likelihood is that this thing can be plugged into an existing outlet. This is actually one of the ways you can spy on a corporate network. If I were to spy on a corporate network, all I have to do is take one of these, plug it into the Ethernet. In the meeting room, there's a lot of Ethernet cables in there and such. plug it in, leave it there, and mark it IT department or something, and leave it there. Or here's another thing I can do. Instead of plugging into the wall of an office, go up to those the sound things up in the ceiling. You can get one of those Ethernet cables in there and snip it off and reconnect it with a crimper. And this takes more time, but crimp it, make RJ45, and then connect it to this. And then this will receive all the traffic. Okay? So there are so many tricks to doing this. There's so many tricks to doing it with this. But the problem is this requires some physical presence. So I asked her to look for a device like this, and she did search, and she didn't find one. So I said, okay, if you didn't find one of these, I was worried that some of the Chinese spy. So if you didn't find one of these, then what are you going to look for? So I said, well, the next question I have is, did anyone take possession of your iPhones and iPads and whatever? And no, they're always in their possession. Okay. And then I found out one of the iPads was a gift from the ex-husband to the kid. Let me repeat this. One of the iPads was a gift from another party. The gift had the login of the original person that was using it, that owned it, which was the ex-husband. And the ex-husband then had control over that. And I don't know if you know this, but from that, you can now make multiple things happen. You can then see all the text messages, turn on the cameras, and communicate with the other devices on the network that are connected to that thing. And suddenly, the spy becomes the iPad. So you can even turn on the microphone, the camera, and all that right on the iPad. And you can do that from using this splash top or log me in or whatever software in unattended mode. Unattended mode is a little pricier than the non-attended mode. And so this is like, I'm making you aware of this because this is what, at least in terms of portable, like phones and such, this is where the fear is. It's if somebody gets a hold of your device or somebody takes over it, then that's one of the things they can do. Here's another way that can be done. Here's another way. Now, this one is a little bit more sneaky and has to do with the government. Or Scalp. Scalp still here? Okay, the other one is using Stingray. Anybody still around in Periscope? Nobody watches anymore. So the other one is Stingray. So what do? You connect to the device using the government device from Harris Corporation called Stingray. Okay, there, the Red Angel there, Jess is there, and John's there. Okay, so Stingray. So Stingray is able to intercept the cell traffic and becomes the cell tower. So anyone with Stingray is the alternate cell tower. It has a strong enough signal that it actually acts as the cell tower. So, I don't know how big the unit is in real life because, based on the photos, it could be this big. Something like that. From the photos. Can't really tell the size from that, but, it could be a little bit bigger like this. I don't know, but I'm assuming it's about this big. And you can put it in the trunk of your car. And then they have some new model. Maybe this new model is even smaller. I don't know. So anyway, the device intercepts your traffic. And here's one of the tricks it can do. And this is the scariest one. When you go drive down size of a microwave, have you seen one physically? Stingray versus Pineapple. The new one is called Trigger Fish or something. So the new version that was used on Steve Cohen, because they used it on Steve Cohen, I think that they called the new one Triggerfish. Okay, watch for black vans. If you see some black vans, they probably have Stingray. Stingray is government use only. Yes, custodian survey, but they can. Michael Cohen, sorry. You like seafood names. Yeah, the seafood name. Triggerfish, Stingray, Michael Cohen. I saw one of few, lots of CBP and feds on the border. Okay, so the U.S. version made by Harris Corp is that size and used by government only. However, they have reverse engineered that or made their own version in other countries. So there are other versions of that. There's Russian versions of that. There's Chinese versions of that. So who the hell knows who they sell it to? Okay? So there are many other versions of that. Plus you have another one called Fem to Sell. So you also have the Fem to Sell option, which is a similar kind of device. Okay? But the original Stingray and such is a more aggressive kind of device because it has built-in software for doing many things, including spying your network and insert code. John McAfee said it can actually it can load jailbreak your phone. Hawaii 5.0 versions. So I don't know if John McAfee's right, but that's what he said. But here's the book 'em, Daniel. Book 'em, Daniel. So the there's some of you have told me this. You drive by certain buildings in Maryland, like near Fort Meade or thereabouts, or some places in Virginia well known to have the offices of the Zucking IA. When you drive through that area, your phone receives a signal that says carrier update. And it repeatedly forces you or tells you to do a carrier update on your phone. And one of the people asked me, well, I clicked on yes on carrier update. And I said, Zuck, better return that phone to Apple and get a new phone because, if it's on warranty, just replace it. Because that is, as far as I'm concerned, you have to brick it. Because how do you undo the carrier update? There's this guy that was interviewed by Vice Channel, capable of fooling Stingrays. Now he is in trouble. There probably is a law that says you fool a Stingray, you go to jail, like changing an IMEI on the phone or something. So anyway, you go to these areas and they issue a carrier update and which loads software on the phone for the carrier. The question is, what else does it load? Are they able to hack? According to John McAfee, they're able to hack. The Android and actually root the Android with that carrier update thing. And doing so, you're still running Android, but there's a layer of a software on it that can function as the rat. And they can use it on, against criminals and such. So the problem is they can use it against anyone. So that's a bit of a different kind of malware, and that's much more advanced and much more scary. And that's there's a map with a plot point of detected Stingray has more than anyone's. LA has the most Stingrays. That's correct. LA is using Stingray. Stingray was originally made for use for terrorism, according to Kelp. Kelp was big on terrorism here, but the reality is that Stingray is being used against, pre-crime. So specific carriers enabled. All I know is that the only thing mentioned was Android, as far as the I didn't hear any reference to an iPhone or iOS being triggered with a carrier update. I think they made it to be creepy. So anyway, so that's a reality. This is in LA here, so that's they're using it to if you're a target of the police, like a gang member, then in theory they can track you all day. So that's the scenario. Now, again, in theory, Stingray is only a law enforcement device. It's not something that's going to be available to a hacker, unless you buy one from China or Russia. So foreign agents have it. It was in the news that they detected a lot of Stingray-like devices operating in Washington, D.C. Okay? That's why cartels set up their own radio cell networks. Wow, really? How about this for a cartel kind of trick? They go play Xbox. So they're playing Xbox, and then they play a game with somebody, and they're having a conversation on Xbox. And instead of just playing a game, they're actually passing information on the conversation on Xbox. Very interesting tricks, what people will do to, sneak up on the law here. So anyway, so that's one of the things. So the average citizen. Yep, I've seen various radio towers just across the border in Mexico in backyards in buildings. So the scenario that I'm giving you for this kind of attack is really government related. So it's probably not something that if you're not a criminal, you probably don't have to get concerned about that. So now let's switch to computers. Let's switch to computers. Oh, you have to be within kind of within visual range, LG Knight. So I do have cameras all around the house, and then I see if there's any. Fortunately, because of my location here, there's only so many entry points, and I can watch somebody on the street and see if they're on my security cameras, and I can see if there's anyone suspicious in the area, like a. One time I saw a suspicious van, white van, or either a white van or a black Tahoe, but this was a white van, suspicious van parked in front of the house. And I took a photo of it and posted it on Brax. I said, I don't know what this is, but it's very suspicious. Why do you keep getting a box come up says cannot be found on here and other sites? I don't know. I don't know the context. So anyway, I checked out the license plate of the vehicle, and there was some identifying thing about the business on there. And I actually Googled it to make sure it's real. And I also want to see if there's any humming noise for generators running inside the vehicle. For somebody doing surveilling, they're running a generator, so you can hear if there's any kind of humming sound in there, like it's the car's running. That would be a clue. And fortunately it was nothing, but that's because I could see it in the camera, and I could say, what the zuck is that? I'm always I'm always suspicious. I'm a very suspicious person. With many antennas, they're not going to put they're not going to put the antennas out there on unless they're trying to be obvious. But that's just a side story. Usually it's a pool cleaner. I've seen similar devices called Amberjack, Kingfish, Harpooner. more fish. Okay, the other devices for Stingray, I noted the newer version of it, but the one that's in a court paper was called Triggerfish. So you have to assume that they use the correct name in the paperwork that they have with the judge. So this is the Steve Cohen, the Michael Cohen, the Michael Cohen warrant. There was a warrant, and they were using Stingray. It was a Stingray warrant, and I saw it. They must love fishing and fishing. Yes, they like fishing the fish. So let's talk about computers for a moment. Now, computers are a little bit different problem, and computers are typically the main target. It's harder to attack a phone. Much easier to attack a computer. Much easier. Well, these are utility truck-like vans. Usually have 6 to 10 antennas. Usually have government contract. I like sushi. Yeah, but if they're in a government contract, they're going to be further away because they're too obvious. So, the kind I'm thinking about is less obvious. So how do you get aside from using AMT? I already told you about AMT vPro on Intel computers, and those are possibly open to attack. The way they only cast so far really is like fishing. In order to hack a computer, it could be a multi-step process. I already demonstrated to you how I can actually cause a malware to be downloaded. I forgot I had to make a video of that to show you. I made it's called clickjacking. I can click an existing website, pass you a link to a legit website. You click on it, and then by clickjacking you will then dump a malware into your computer. Once the malware is in the computer, I can take some other steps to get you to click it. This is going to be social engineering based. Okay? It may be an unrelated step that's legit, and then cause it to find some malware that's on the side there and execute it, and there it goes. Now, this is the problem with all malware. In order for malware like a rat, that kind of powerful malware to get into your computer, you have to be an administrator. You have to have admin rights. So I've told you this before, and I'm going to repeat this. The best way to stop this kind of malware is very simple. Do not ever use your computer as admin. I do not use my computer as admin. Okay? Telling you right now, I'm using a computer right here. Okay? I'm not admin. You can send me all the malware you want. It's not going to execute because it doesn't have rights. Can't even get out of its little documents downloads folder. It's not going to be able to do anything. I can just look at the downloads folder and see if there's any suspicious files in there, and I will immediately know that somebody loaded a virus on there. It can't copy it to Windows. It can't copy it to anywhere. It's not going to get to anywhere because I don't have rights to it. Okay? Because I am not the admin. This is something I've told you before. Set up your computer on your Mac, on your PC. When you buy your computer the first time, you are the admin. Don't use that account. Do not use the account that it comes with that you first set up. Don't use the first account you set up. That's the admin. If I were you, I'd just leave that alone. Don't put your real name on the computer either. I think I gave you this advice before. No, you can connect your iTunes. Just don't connect of course you connect. iTunes has its own login. It has nothing to do with that. Don't connect the login of your computer itself to admin. When you're using your computer, use a non-admin account. You create another user. So that let's say you set up your let's say you set up your main account and your username is John. Okay? Don't use that John account. Create another account. Call it user. Call it something else. Don't put your real name. Okay? That's very important because those names show up in email and such. It will actually be used to default files, and it will show up in various places you don't expect. And what happens is you set up another account, and then on the type of user, do not give it administrator rights. Do not give it standard user rights. Standard user. If you're going to install software, there you go, Kim. That's why you listen to me. Thank you for coming in, Kim. So what you do is you install the main software you want as an admin, put it on the admin account, copy it over to the user account, the second user account, and every time you do something that requires an admin behavior, it will ask you to give you the password for the admin, and that's the only time that it will able to do anything. It will give you a warning because it always pops up the admin password, and then you say, it's trying to do something, and then you think to yourself and see if it makes sense, because you're installing something or something else is trying to install without your zucking permission, and you're just saying yeah. Don't do that. So that's what I do. I never use an admin account, and that really isolates any kind of malware. Now, I'm going to tell you some of the problems with having a non-admin account on your PC. It makes it somewhat difficult because sometimes some of the software will fail. One of them that's noted to fail is Streamlabs, which I use, Streamlabs OBS. It doesn't like not being admin, and it fails. It's hard to do a video on this because I have to have a new computer. Can you just using a non-admin from now? Yes. Yes, Kim. Yes, you can. Start with a new non-admin account. But the problem is if you have a virus, then it's already there. Okay? Yeah, you can start anytime and say, I'll start today. By the way, Eagle Source USA, are you the one that said that there's a problem on Android 8 on Brax? Android 9 is running perfectly. Android 7 runs perfectly. Somebody said, several people have said there's a problem with Android 8 on Brax. And unfortunately, I don't have an Android 8. So this is kind of frustrating. So I have to kind of blindly try to fix something. I don't know what the cause is. But Android 9 runs very perfectly. So you have to keep guessing here. Might take me a while to figure out what it is because I don't really have a way of testing this. So I have version 6 Android. I have 4.4. I have 7. I have 9. I don't have 8. Okay? So maybe I gotta, I don't know what to do. Buy one and return it? I don't know. I don't know what to do. Okay. Maybe some of you have an old Android 8 you want to lend me, and then I'll use it to test and I'll give it back to you. So I just need if somebody has an old Android 8, reset it to factory and I could use it to test it and figure out what the problem is. Maybe some of you are, have a dumpy old Android 8 you don't need anymore. So I don't care what the condition is because I just need to see what the issue is with this Android 8 and Brax. Okay. Anyway, to continue on with my story on logging in. The problem with demonstrating this is I have to get a brand new computer to demonstrate it, and that makes it hard. And it has to be a different demonstration for Mac versus PC. Anyway, you go into the area where you set up users and make a new user while you are in the admin account. So you have to be logged in as the administrator, the first account you use to start the computer. And then from that account, you create another user and you don't give it passwords. You don't give it rights, admin rights. Again, the problem is sometimes you may have to install the software twice as an admin and then in the desktop of the secondary user. Sometimes you have to do that. There's some little tricks. They're not all well behaved because they're always being tested as an administrator. But this is the safest way I know because it's pretty hard for malware to break in with this kind of system. I don't really care about my antivirus with this procedure. I have 3 old two or flip phones. Might change them to see what happens. 3 old watch my flip phone video, which is now my most popular video on YouTube. And this is my phone now. It's like this is this techie guy using a BlackBerry. It's pretty funny. Okay. I do have an iPhone 10, but I walk around with a BlackBerry. Yeah. Yeah. iPhone 10, but if you spot me on the road, you're not going to be able to track me because I'm on a BlackBerry. If I have nothing to hide, why should I care if I get malware? That's right, Justin. You don't have to worry about, most of the world don't have to worry about malware. You can all get malware, according to Justin, right? Yeah, because you have nothing to hide. That's the exact opposite from what I would have guessed. So what is the opposite of you? You mean you don't think you should have opposite to this? I got a 6 plus an X in use, a 3 and a 5 too. Well, I got them all from 1. They don't work anymore. Uh, so the earliest iPhone you can really use is, I believe, is a 4S. Anything older than that is no longer usable in the network. Yeah. So this one is 2011 phone or 2012 really. Uh, have had adware. You mean have I had adware loaded? Yeah. Yes. If I download software, I don't pay attention to where I download it from. Often they will attach the malware to the download. 3 doesn't even register. It can't. That there's no longer any network on anything under 4 and below. And there's no phone networks in the U.S. But you're in Australia, so I don't know what Telstra had in mind. Telstra's probably on 1G. The dumb phone network will be good through 2022, so that's a good thing. Yes, and hopefully somebody will design a new dumb phone before then. Hopefully somebody will design a new dumb phone before 2022. Yeah, but I think we're covered for a while, for several years. I'm gonna imagine at least 5 years on my BlackBerry. Okay, we have 5G. It's not great. Yeah, so yeah, you're 5G, but you know, if you're on your home DSL, they figure you don't need more than 10 megabit, 10 megabit on DSL. Many of my older relatives only want a dumb phone. Yes, that's why they call the flip phones a senior phone. And it's like, well, how the zuck do you text with that? Okay, so this one is, what do I use the phone for? It's mostly for texting and listening to music. So texting, listening to music, occasional phone call. That's it. The rest. This is, I use this when I'm home. This is like an iPad. I don't really need to, I know some of you will say, but I want to go check out Periscope while I'm on the road. It's like, zuck that. I'm not going to go waste time. I'm driving around in a car. I'm not going to give it, I'm not going to go to Periscope. I'll give it a go. If security gets popular, a new dumb phone could be $1 million idea. I know. I may have to design one, right? I may have to design one. So anyway, that's what you do on your phone. You set up a secondary user that's not the admin. And now what happens if you get a virus on your computer anyway, because you were on the main account, or you put in the password when you were not supposed to, or you downloaded. Here's a common cause of having a virus. This is a very common way to get it, aside from email. By the way, the email approach cannot get into your account if you're doing what I'm doing here, which is using a non-admin. The email can't hurt you. Okay, if you're not admin, email's not going to hurt you unless they can do it by social engineering. But let's just say that I'll give you an example. Let's say you want to load up some software that's free on the internet. And for the sake of example, I'm going to say Audacity. Audacity is a sound, it's for managing sound files on the internet. It's free, so you can download Audacity for free. There are some mirror sites that would take a program just like an Audacity, wrap it with an installer program, and the installer program has malware. So when you install this program, it will install Audacity like normal, and it will seem like it's a normal thing. There will not seem to be a problem, but often you get adware. This is where you get the adware issue, because that's one of the malware things they will do is put adware in software that you download. They will take a normal free version of the program and add the malware to it. So this is a common way of getting it. This is why what you have to do is always check to make sure you're going to the original site for the software. Don't just go. This is what a lot of people do. They actually do a search for Audacity, for example, and they take the first link and they click on it. Suck. Don't just click on everything. Doesn't have to be MD5 hash. Could be a SHA hash. Okay? Don't just click on anything that you see on the internet. Don't just do that. So if it comes out, I'm going to say, well, where does this website go to? And then go look at the HTTP certificate to make sure it's actually the site that it says it is. Yes, that's what people do. It said free, you click on it, and there you go. And you didn't even research it or click on the site. I'm going to be very, very careful what I download and install, because when you install, it will ask you for your admin password, and you're going to give it. Once you do that, virus is in, and there's only one solution to that. Somebody said, how do you remove malware? There is only one way to remove malware, guys. Reinstall the entire OS from scratch. That is the only way to do it. Do people really fall for it? They do, Justin. It's a big business. What are you talking about? Okay, entire due on my OS reinstall due on June 14. Why not June 15, entire Meyer? Is it your half a year? I do mine on intervals too. Not necessarily timed like yours, like exactly on June 15, but I do it frequently enough that it'll be multiple times a year. I reinstall the OS. So I just did mine, so it's just fresh. I still haven't managed to make an album on Audacity. It would be a cool gimmick though. So anyway, just a ballpark date. I don't go outside often. My exposure to normal people is limited. Normal people. So you don't know what a normie looks like, Justin? Do you wipe and reinstall from backup? Yes, but you have to reinstall from the... you can reinstall from backup, but I tend to reinstall the entire OS and reinstall every piece of software from scratch. Yeah. It's up to you. You find out your own scheme. I tend to do it from scratch so that I'm certain. Because I'm a little bit more, paranoid than the rest of you. So I like to install from scratch. So I just did mine. Mine is was done very, very recently. So I don't have anything. And I haven't installed much software on it. And I have a very limited list of software. The way I do it, guys, is this is the way I do mine, just to show you. I put my important files on Brax.me, including instructions on how to make a brand new computer with all the software I want to load. I have it pre-listed on Brax. I have a little checklist on there. So I know I can have it in the cloud anytime I want. Important files I put on the cloud. And then I do have a USB drive for other things, big files that I keep locally, and then keep it there. But what I try to do is I hardly ever put data itself on my computer. I don't put photos on it. My photos are on Brax, so if anything happens, it's on Brax. So I don't really worry about losing. If somebody put a what do you call this? Ransomware in my computer, my response will be, "Zuck you! I'm just going to reinstall. I'm not going to lose anything. All my source code, everything is on the servers remotely, and you're not going to get a virus in there. So all of my stuff is remote. There's no way you can go interfere with. You can't put ransomware in my remote network. It's all locked down. So since all of my stuff is remote and cloud servers, I don't really rely on anything. Hello, Shocking Guy. I don't rely on putting any kind of software. I've built a habit where anything important I put on a flash drive or someplace else. I try not to put any actual long-term files on my computer. Typically, my computer will be full of videos, for example, because I'm making videos. That is your server. What if Brax goes away? What do you mean Brax goes away? Brax has been around for years. Brax has been around for years. Well, I trust it with my data. You know, you can do whatever you want. Come up with your own method. All I know is I use Brax. I trust Brax for my stuff. It's encrypted in there. I know that Amazon can't go look at it. I have to go. My clients arrive. I'll check the replay. Okay, Kim, how's the cloud life been? I've been wanting to try that for ages. So my stuff is in my cloud, encrypted with my cloud, and I know that Amazon isn't going to go get a copy of my files because I encrypted it over their encryption. Amazon encrypts it. I encrypt over that. So I'm, they can't look at my files. So I'm comfortable with that. I will actually make, this is one of my future projects, guys. If there's a demand for it, you let me know now. I'm actually going to make a paid service. It's going to be a vault, a file vault on the cloud, because I didn't find any good service that does this. A good file vault in the cloud with end-to-end encryption. At home backup is not a good idea because you're traveling. You need to reach the files, and you need to have access to it. Especially if you're traveling all the time or your computer gets hacked or whatever. A cloud is much better because there's an infrastructure. There's always somebody doing the backups and so on. So you never have to worry about the file getting lost or anything like that because of the infrastructure of the whole network there to make copies and backups and everything else. Okay, so I'm gonna make a end-to-end encryption subscription where you put your files in and only you know the password, so the files are encrypted in the cloud with your password on it, and it can only be decrypted by you. Now you can't share files from this. There's no file sharing. You can't share in social media because it's end-to-end encrypted. The other party's not going to be able to get it. So with end-to-end encryption, you can the only people who can download the files are the same people that have the end-to-end encryption key. So for example, let's say you want to share with your associates. If all of you have the end-to-end encryption key, then you can all download it, but nobody from Brax will be able to see it, and we will not have the key. I'm going to come up with that service. I've seen the services that are out there. There's only one that I saw, and it's just not, it's an expensive service, by the way. It's not cheap. But this is a great, tool for business because, you can share files in a way that's safe, because Dropbox is not safe. What do you think happens with Dropbox? Aside from the fact that Dropbox doesn't have any kind of encryption, but even if they did have encryption, it's not end-to-end, which means they can decrypt it. They can share your files with the government. They can share your files with, whoever. Would a keylogger be able to see your key on? Yes. Any keylogger would be able to see. Yes. There's no solution to that. It will have to be a separate feature, John. It'll have to be. It could be called from Brax, but it will have to be a separate feature. It's going to have to be something else, because E2E is not built into the file system right now because it has to be shared. So right now, thank you, Michelle, because right now the files have to be shared to other people, so you can't do E2E when you're going to share it. So we have a one-time key that's developed for each file that's kept by the server. So it's pretty much hack-proof, but it's not E2E because you have to share it. An E2E solution means no one except the ones in possession of the key can look at the files. So that's, especially if you have big file, doesn't copy and paste beat keylogger. Why would it beat a keylogger? Why would it beat a keylogger? You can only have WPA2 PSK because that's the highest level you can use now. Do you use a package managers like Chocolate to reinstall other than OS reinstall? I do not. I don't like using any of those. You can use whatever equivalent is of Ghost nowadays. If you want, install it fresh and then back it up right immediately. No, that's not necessarily what a keylogger means, because a cut and paste is can a keylogger can in theory read clipboard. Cut and paste is clipboard memory. I don't know if you know this, but any app can read your clipboard. Shocking guy. Did you know that? I can write a little program that can read everything that you put in your clipboard and send it to me. I don't need... You're being too literal with a keylogger. A rat can do things on the computer just like you can as a user, including read your clipboard, access files and do all that without your knowledge. They don't have to rely on just keylogging. The keylogging is the most simplistic way that will work. So yes, that is one of the techniques that a rat might do, is keyloging, but that's not limited to that. Okay? Save us with your gun. Spider Oak does likes client side. I think that's the one I looked at, Spider Oak. So I want to make I think that's the one I looked at. That sounds familiar. Spider Oak may be the one I looked at. So I want to make my own version of it. I have cloud servers through Microsoft for testing. Is Amazon are better than cheaper? I certainly think so. And it's hello, Myrodon. I tend to use Amazon, Microsoft. What's the name of the Microsoft cloud? The Microsoft Cloud does not have the capability. It's like a baby version of AWS. The Azure is not. For example, they don't have centralized databases. They don't have managed databases. So they're just really just a base cloud. So AWS is much more sophisticated. So AWS is definitely a leader. So they can handle anything, from email to texting to whatever. Whereas Azure is a bit behind. So Azure is made for, if you're running, like Windows servers. So for somebody like me that makes my own apps, I wouldn't go to Azure. Azure, but might be a good hit for good thing for corporate clients using Citrix. That would be a good thing for them. And it might even be priced right for them for that purpose, Windows computers. But for Linux-based computers that are attached to services on whatever, then AWS is much more robust, even much more robust than Google. So AWS is number one. I'm running Linux on them, ironically. Yes, I know they would run Linux, but there are services that you can use that go beyond the Linux that are available on AWS. For example, AWS features facial recognition, Amazon Echo code, if you want to do any of that. It's already there. Emailing, texting, whatever. All of those services are all built into the AWS system. Backups and all that. So, whereas it's not on Azure. AWS is not cheap, though. So I don't do my VPNs on AWS. It's too expensive to use AWS for VPN. So I do not do that. I make my own servers, and I don't. What is there to have a take on it? I don't use Cloudflare. That's not my host. I don't use Cloudflare as my host. I like other hosts that are cheaper. I should check the features first, I guess. Yeah. Okay. So I don't. You check pricing for your host. The Cloudflare offering didn't necessarily appeal to me because, for example, when I'm buying services like for VPN servers, I need high bandwidth, so I need a lower cost for the higher bandwidth. So I pre-buy the bandwidth. So let's say I buy the bandwidth in 20 terabytes a month, something like that. Going back to Prodigy, not AOL. So So I buy typically bandwidth in 20 terabyte increments. That would be extremely expensive on Amazon. Extremely expensive. Uh, what is the change the subject? It depends because time is running short here. So by the way, again to remind you, I will do a music broadcast tomorrow on Periscope only. So I know nobody will watch that, but jam session. It's my monthly jam session. It'll be on Periscope from 7:30 to 10 p.m. tomorrow. Do you see the UK getting banned from parts of the internet? No. What? How do you ban somebody from parts of the internet? I would like to know how you do that. I vote to ban the British from the internet. No. No, Starlight. China has its own internet already. But that doesn't ban them. It's the reverse. They keep themselves from us, not the other way around. Yep. AOL. CompuServe. CompuServe. So that's not how the internet works. You can ban people from leaving the internet, your internet, to go to the main internet. They'll need to build a firewall around them. Yes, which they did. That's called the Chinese firewall. So you can't search in China. Yeah, they block. They will block specific websites in China. They don't block everything. They just selectively block. You were only in CompuServe. I've never been in CompuServe nor AOL, nor on Prodigy. All useless things. Because do you remember? I don't know if you remember the days you were on AOL and the people actually thought that was the internet. That they thought the Wildcat BBS. They actually. I was running a Wildcat BBS. I used to be on Prodigy. I was on. So back in the day, people will be on. I make a website and I say, here, go to my website, and they say, is that on AOL? They actually think the internet is on AOL. It's like, zuck. You were one of the first 250K people on AOL? Wow. That is zucked up. Bye, have a good night. Why are you saying good night, Justin? I thought you're going to get my hardware first. Get my hardware first. VPN routers. By the way, let me just, for those of you who don't understand what this does, you understand what a VPN is, some of you. Okay? You understand what a VPN is. You load software to your computer, connect to a VPN, and it uses a different IP address and nobody knows where you're coming from. That's what a VPN does, right? The problem, of course, is you have to put the VPN software in every single device. Your iPhone, your iPad, every phone you have, every computer. You can have 20 devices in your house, maybe more. And you got to put the VPN in each one of those. And it's terribly, difficult to do. Then you have guests come into the house, and they also want to borrow the internet, and they're not going to be on a VPN. Then you have security cameras, and Alexa Echo, Ring, Google Nest, and all these little different devices that have to go to the internet, and it's going to be a problem. So this is so sucking handy. I've been using it myself now. I have 2 of these in the house, and I don't even need to be on a VPN. I basically turn the VPN off. If the VPN shuts down, this shuts down. It can't connect it can't connect to the internet without the VPN. So it's basically its own built-in kill switch, because it can't get to the internet without the VPN. It's not routable to the internet without the VPN. So this shuts down, and it's fantastic. So I don't really have to do anything. I just connect to the internet, and I'm on the VPN. And no loading software, no whatever. This is self-updating. It loads software on its own, including new server profiles and whatever. It does it automatically. So it's like cost Australian. I don't know what the Australian is. It's the The software for you, John, buy your own Raspberry Pi over there. It's not if you want to use a new Raspberry Pi, buy your own. So you need to get a VPN subscription, right? It's $89 a year for all of your devices. So $89 for your household, entire year. That takes care of the whole household. And this is a one-time purchase hardware, and then this is $149, and then you just plug it in, and there you go. And you're like, it's so easy. You don't even have to tell your kids that they're on a VPN. They just automatically are. So you don't have to worry about what people in your household are doing. I always worry about, if somebody's searching for how to make a nuclear bomb, and they're doing it on my Zucking internet, and it's like, Zuck you. I don't want anybody doing that. So, by being on a VPN, then I don't have to get concerned with it going to and somebody saying it's me. There is Ron. I've heard a friend who's in desperate need for something like that. Can you ship it to Brazil? I would say just buy build your own Raspberry Pi in Brazil, and then just get the chip from me, and I'll just ship that in an envelope. Just get the chip. I sell the chip. Yes, but John, to ship it to Australia is gonna add like $20 shipping. $25 shipping, and this does not take a long time. You can assemble it in 2 minutes. Do condoms protect against malware? Zuck, no, Ron. The chip is $90 if you want to just get the chip. The chip is $90. You can use it with a different VPN. So if you're in Brazil, plus insurance, yeah. If you're in Brazil, they sell Raspberry Pis in Australia, John. Come on, just buy Raspberry Pi there. Oh, is POS phony? Oh, gosh. No fighting, Ron. No fighting. Okay, so just get a device in whatever country you're in. Okay. So, because if you're in Europe or Asia or Australia or wherever you're at, they sell Raspberry Pis everywhere. So it's not that big of a deal to assemble one. All you have to do is insert the chip. You say, well, I like the way you assemble it. Well, trust me, a kid could assemble this. It's not rocket science. It's not rocket science to assemble. Okay, what's up, Ron? Enough. Okay, what's going on, Ron? What's new in the world? Ron, I want to alert you. I wanted to leave you a message. There are people scoping with 40, 50,000 viewers per broadcast. Can you highlight those and make sure it's brought to everyone's attention? No zucking way in this day and age. You're using the call-in feature. Ron, in this day and age, we know that no one gets 50,000 viewers here on Zucking Periscope. Please. Okay? I don't care if you show any kind of bobs. Oh gosh, Ron, it's just disturbing to see, because it's like just disturbing. I don't want to say anything anymore, but it's just disturbing to me. So you can see. So yeah, 40, 50,000 viewers on Periscope, and it's like, I thought these, you see, they assume that they caught all the bot companies. There's many bot companies, and some of these other ones are maybe they're from Alex Pettit's contacts. I don't know, but I have someone who I don't know what to tell you, Ron. When it comes to the scamming, if you're telling me that 40, 50,000 viewers today, I just saw the broadcast today. Uh, you know, they didn't catch anyone. This is today. Okay, two broadcasters today from the same group. Okay, they obviously are related, and they hired the same bot company. So yeah, 40,000. It's just just anywhere around. I don't want to be attached to it. I'm just telling you. It's just what when I, I'm being very legit here. I don't even care what my numbers are right now. I'm at 507. Yesterday I had like 800. Do I care? No, I don't. I'd rather have quality people in here than I have to worry about numbers of people that just come in here and come in because they want to see squash. So don't really care. Quality people in here. That's good enough for me, and I'm happy with that. Yes. It's waste of effort, trying to like promote yourself on Periscope and saying you got 50 million followers in here. It's not very useful. And why don't you play a trick and tell me that you have 50,000 followers on YouTube? See, they can't do it on YouTube. They can't do it on YouTube. How are others pulling in 4,000 daily? If you have open bobs and you're a woman, you can get 4,000. Now, if you say you're getting 10,000, then I say you're zucked up. If you say you're getting 40,000, then you are, really zucked up. Read the zucking. I'm reading the zucking comments. So, yes, you will not mention my name. Okay, I know there. Yes, I read the manipulating the globalist. You're a teacher, not a complainer. I don't want to complain. Yes, I don't want to complain. I'm just, I just don't want my followers to be tricked by looking at people that say you're getting, 250 to 300 viewers at any one moment, and you actually believe that. If you actually believe that, then there's something wrong with your brain. Okay? There's something wrong with your brain if you actually think that somebody can, in today's date, get 500 viewers or even 250 viewers simultaneously nowadays in Periscope. And you're not opening bobs. One of their faves coping to 14 is on top of the globalist now. Should I look and see who that is? Should I look? Hold on. Can't even leave this because I'm globalist. Okay, so who's on a globalist now? Okay. I'm on top. Hey, I'm on top, Ron. I actually I'm on top. There's like, and yet I only get 30. Okay, explain that to me. I am on the top of the list, and I'm only getting 30 in here. It just goes to show you that Periscope itself has fucking changed. Periscope has changed. Periscope has changed. Okay, so not on mine. So you're not on top. Well, yesterday I was at number 75. Somebody said I was at the very bottom. Today was the first time I've seen myself on top, and I hardly got anyone here. Okay, I've normally been on the bottom. They might send you a cap. I already have a cap. So this is in my store. If anybody wants a cap, get yourself a Braxme hat. Let me go look. Yep. So anyway, music tomorrow, guys. So that'll be. Then I'll make a video on Yubikey on around Wednesday or so. We should hire a yoga person to do stretches while you make your presentation. Well, we'll have to do that. Yes, we'll have to do that. And then so I'm gonna try to make a couple of videos, and then I'm gonna start using that nifty sketch feature. Do they still have? Do they still have a sketch feature, Keith? Does anyone still use that, or they said enough with that? We're gonna do call in, and people are saying, well, you should do a call in. You should do a call in. So, nope, no call-ins for me. Call-in does not suit my presentation style. That's not what I'm doing here. So if I call in, that person will then be 50%. You are not on my. Are you fucking kidding me, Ron? I'm not. Do they have like customized global list now? So they make you think that you're on top, but you're really not seen by anyone? Do they have it now customized? Oh my gosh. You need to get a new hat picture for your site. Then why don't you wear the hat? He can barely read comment without call-ins. Yes, that is correct. No, I am not kidding. Zach. So let me, before I shut down the broadcast, I'm going to do a final look to see if you're actually correct. Oh, no, sorry. I was not looking at the global list. I was looking at my list. No, I'm sure I'm not on a global list now. Let me see. No, Ron, you're right. I looked at the wrong button. I'm a Zaki moron. You know what? I forgot how to use Periscope. You know what's so funny, Ron? I forgot how to use Periscope. I mean, doesn't that tell you something? I hardly ever use Periscope, and so I actually forgot where to look for the global list. So I actually looked in the wrong spot. So yes, I am not on the global list. That is zucked up. Yes, I am not on the global list. So yes, not. I forgot how to use it. I clicked the wrong button. Not on there, mother zuckers. Yes, I forgot how to use Periscope. So don't ask me to use call-ins. I don't even know how to use Periscope anymore. It's zocked up. Because, it's kind of like it's gotten to the point where I spend 90% of my attention on YouTube, 99% of my attention on YouTube, trying to develop that. Because, at least it's predictable. You do X work on YouTube, then you get a known return. On Periscope, I devote, 4 years of my time, and the result is unknown. So it's maddening. Trying to contain you to your own special box and circle of followers. Can we look at the global list? Go live. Want to see your. I spend 90% of my time trying to get laid. Interesting, Ron. Does that mean you have success in that 90% of the time, or 90% of the time it's a fail? Not tonight. Okay, so I'll be broadcasting on Periscope unsuccessfully. There you go. I will be broadcasting to Periscope only tomorrow with music, and Ron can go in there, and he's not going to go into my music broadcast. I've never seen Ron on a music broadcast because I'm not talking and reading comments, and I will not be commenting because I'm playing music. So I'll see you then. Bullshit. Have you actually been to a music broadcast, Ron? Since I'm not talking. I'm not talking. You're gonna. Did you go into those music broadcasts and say he doesn't know how to read comments? Well, thank you, Ron. Thank you for sharing. Anyway, I'll be doing a music broadcast only on Periscope tomorrow. There you go. Okay. Only on Periscope tomorrow. So, see you later, guys. Thank you for showing up tonight, and hope you enjoyed the great discussion tonight. Good fun. Good night. Good night, Ron. Good night, everyone.